All right, so I'm back again. You're listening to part 4 of It's Time to Move Forward. If you did not listen to part 1, 2, and 3, I strongly advise you go back and listen to that. Because in part 1, I talked about the importance of stop apologizing. Stop worrying about what people think or say. Stop apologizing and go higher and do what God told you to do. And then in part 2, I talked about the importance of no longer looking backwards, constantly looking backwards at what didn't work out. Right? That was part 2. And then part 3 was all about letting go. Letting go. Letting go of even what we had in mind and trusting that God is going to take care of us. And now part 4 is called Go Higher. So I'm going to read a little bit from my book, Necessary. I'm reading excerpts from the chapter called I Won't Apologize for Going Higher. So let me figure out here where I'm going to start. Not everyone in my life was pleased with this newfound path I was on. But I could not apologize for refusing to surrender to their old version of me. I so badly wanted to say, don't you see that I've changed? Don't you see how God has changed me to be his reflection? So how can I possibly walk like I used to walk? How can I talk like I used to talk? And how can I do what I used to do when he has changed me? This is why I can't apologize for going higher. No apologies were necessary because God was taking me to higher grounds. Each time God called me a little higher, I noticed he detached someone or something from me, even if it only involved detaching me from myself, from my flawed patterns of behaviors and beliefs that held me back. But I had to go higher, and I won't apologize for that. In fact, why should we ever apologize for imitating our Father in heaven? As I began to focus on honoring God in my life, I had to close doors that led me down dark pathways. I had to allow some unhealthy relationships to end. And at times I had to disappoint others by not always being available to return a call, reply to a message, attend events, or respond to any drama that didn't impact my destiny. I had to change my schedule, adjust my routines, and set limitations on what was worthy of my attention because I needed to get quiet and hide with my Father so that I could hear what he was saying. I had to hear what he was saying because I was tired of wandering around in the desert, in a dry land filled with false promises, setbacks, and heartaches. I'm sorry that I cannot be sorry. I won't apologize. I won't ever apologize for going higher. So I'm going to stop right there. This fourth subtitle is called Go Higher. There has to be a point in life, you all, where you say to yourself, I can't apologize any longer by staying low. Enough is enough. I have to go higher because this is what I am called to do. I said this in the previous video. Some of you are feeling so uncomfortable, and that's because you're too low. I say that to God sometimes when I'm talking to him or when I'm in prayer. I say, God, I'm too low. I'm too low. You can't keep me this low. We got to go up higher. I got to go up to a higher level. I got to go up to a higher level in the spirit where I know who I am in the spirit. That's some of the things you learn inside of the Necessary Retreat. I've invited you all to join and become a part of the Necessary Retreat because the whole premise is we got to know who we are. So sometimes I say to God, God, I can't stay this low. You got to take me on up higher. Let's go up higher with this. And that's what I was going through in this chapter. This entire chapter about I won't apologize for going higher. And I love the way that God placed it in my heart to kind of wrap up this chapter is how can I possibly walk like I used to walk? How can I talk like I used to talk and do the things I used to do? How can I possibly do that when God has called me higher? So I had to let go of some unhealthy relationships. I had to get rid of some old patterns, some things in my life that was holding me back. I had some friends that was feeling some kind of way about some of those things, almost like, who do you think you are? Or there's nothing wrong with doing this, or there's nothing wrong with, you know what I'm talking about. Some of the things that you used to do that you're like, no, I don't think that God want me doing that anymore. I can't be doing that. And I almost felt like I was apologizing by giving excuses. And I had to realize, wait. I don't ever need to apologize for going higher. How can you apologize by imitating your Father in heaven? Now, if you don't know what I'm referring to when I'm saying how can you apologize, go back and listen to part 1, 2, and 3, and it'll make a little bit more sense. Because when I use the word apologize, I almost mean it means as if you're giving an excuse or a reason for not pushing past and going forward. You know, you're kind of putting your toe in the water a little bit. You're not doing too much because you don't want too many people thinking too much. You know, thinking who this person thinks she is, right? Can't apologize because it's time to go higher. Let me read a little bit from at the end of each chapter. There's a reflection and then there's recommended reading. And I want to read a passage from Hebrews chapter 12, verse 1 through 2. It says, therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles. Let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, Yeshua, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. And that's Hebrews 12, 1 through 2. And that's the NIV version. And now let me read from you all the assignment. At the end of each chapter, I like to end with asking a series of almost like thought-provoking questions, you know, like self-reflective questions so that you can take something away. So at the assignment question number 4 at the end of this says, what commitment are you willing to make today as a result of what you've just learned? What commitment are you willing to make? Are you willing to make the commitment that, you know what? I understand that life is short. I'm not here that long. There's no way I can continue to walk in confusion, to walk in chaos. There's no way that I can continue to keep the exact same group of, the company, keep the same boundaries I have in place when I'm trying to go higher to a higher level. My relationship with God has to improve. My mindset has to improve. I need to be transformed by the renewing of my mind. God has created me to soar. That's why I'm uncomfortable right now. That's why something don't feel quite right, because I haven't quite figured out exactly what I need to do or exactly what am I supposed to be doing to move forward. So what commitment are you making today? What commitment are you going to make? One of the commitments is I pray to God you make a commitment that nothing is going to hinder my walk with God. That's first and foremost. Focus on your prayer life. Focus on your Bible study. Focus on really understanding who God's character is and coming to know who he is. And the second thing that I hope that you focus on, get yourself into the right environment to get the help that you need. That's one of the things that really disturbs me is that I see so many people that need to get help. And I've been stuck in this mode as well, where you get stuck. You're not quite sure exactly what you need to do, but then there's no investment in your own mindset or in your own development. I always have a coach, a mentor, or something. I'm reading books. I'm watching YouTube videos. I'm doing whatever God has blessed me to be able to do during this little bit of time that we've been given so that I can grow and learn and develop. And of course, I soak in my Bible. Just to be clear, that's number one. But what else are you doing? What commitment are you making for yourself? So I'm looking forward to reading your comments. I want to welcome you all to join the Necessary Retreat. That is a 12 to 16 week retreat. And I know that's a long time to spend with me. I already know. And it's not easy spending that much time with me because I'm going to challenge you like you wouldn't believe. And we walk through the entire series of the Necessary book with mindset exercises, challenges, and a number of things so that you can go all the way from, I got to figure out even who I am and how to even start dreaming again. I got to figure out how to start letting go of what no longer is needed in my life. I got to start preparing for this new territory I'm about to walk into, and finally walking into mastery, so that whatever it is that you set your sights on, as long as it is within the will of God, let's make that clear, nothing is going to hold you back. So I love you all, and I'm looking forward to hearing what commitment are you going to make. I love you. You're listening to Unlocking Greatness Podcast with Z, and I pray you've been encouraged by this 4-part series called It's Time to Move Forward. Love you all.